12 young men in love with Turkey. Began a long journey. 12 young men in love with Turkey were each an Atribalist lover. Turkish national team: Turkmen, Kurd, Dadash, Arab, Yido, Circassian, Laz, Albanian, Bosnian. These are what the Turkish nation is: pure-hearted and honest. They are in search of something. They started digging towards the deep layers of the civilization they belong to. No, they are not going back to the past. The past comes towards them and pushes those Atribalist ones to the future. They seek for their future in the past, the future of their children, grandchildren, and humanity. They deeply believe that a liberation not surrounding the entire world shall not mean a liberation for them too. They named the association they found MUSIAD, Independent Industrialists and Businessmen Association. A contemporary Mangreber, enterprising, passionate, and independent. The expression of independent businessman, which we can laugh away today, was still very meaningful 20 years ago. In the West, the state was in a sense that the state of the bourgeoisie, namely the industrialists and the businessmen. But in Turkey, the industrialist and the businessmen belonged to the state. Relying on the protection of the state, they earned money using the advantages provided by the state and never felt that they owe the nation. They had no independence but so much rent. The 12 young men in love with Turkey were after a world with no rent, plenty of independence. That is why they chose the word independent as an adjective to their name, because the Turkish nation was athirst for independence. Starting with 12, the number of lovers of Turkey reached 112 in a short time. Then in the 20th year, today, the number of MUSIAD members is 5,112, including the young ones. Numbers are important, but assertions are more. MUSIAD was entering the agenda of Turkey with a brand new assertion. A new assertion requires a new language, new words and concepts. MUSIAD was either creating new words or blending known words with a new style. It said the learned, the order, and the merchant. New Turkey would be built by the harmony and the self-sacrifice of these three. The priority was given to the learned, namely the wise. Action not based on knowledge could neither be legitimate nor efficient. The politics and trade would take their action principles from the wisdom. Unprincipled politics was boring and unprincipled trade was destructive. MUSIAD members suggested a Hilf ul Fudul against the unprincipled politics and plundering economy, an alliance of virtue. It was a dream maybe, a hope. Hopes are in the future is in the roots, said the MUSIAD members. They deeply believed that every magnificent future requires a renaissance, a resurrection. Europeans used to revive ancient Greek for their own renaissance. The source of our civilization was Islam. Filtering the virtue of the past, we would use it as the mortar for the construction of our future. Hilful Fudul was the path of virtue that would take us to the Medina market. Medina market was the institutionalization of the alliance of virtue. The market was established on a completely flat area and with the expression of modern economics. No formation of asymmetric information was allowed. Every player was aware of everything going on in the market. There was no puss in the corner. Nobody was allowed to get unearned income from the market by using his political influence. MUSIAD wanted to carry such principles to the 21st century and remind humanity that civilization is not a mechanism of exploitation, but an art of living, and that the principles directing their behaviors should be ambition, humbleness, and devotion. They had to run after halal income with ambition, and humbly but avoid idolizing income. They had to have a love and heart fire going beyond material earning. They were coming from Anatolia, and their ears were full of the transient songs of Karacaoğlan. A man cannot embarrass his opponent if he does not have the entirety in hand. The moth cannot awaken its poison if it does not have the love in its head, fire in its heart. Living was to balance. Islamic world that failed to balance ambition with humbleness became an easy hunt for the Western world. Because we failed to develop an ethics of action in politics and trade to respond to the modern times, we had gone to foreign land in our homeland and became pariahs. MUSIAD members began their journey in a critical and unlucky period. Turkey of the 1990s, compressed between the separatist terror and interest terror, witnessed one of the biggest robberies of history. The capitalist class, protected by the government, tended to openly rob the government when in trouble. The real interest rate was so increased that industrialists quit manufacture and began to brokerage. The Bankruptcy 99 report, published by MUSIAD in 1994, announced the final bankruptcy of the Republic of Turkey 5 years prior. The lawlessness of the 28th of February not only limited our freedoms, but multiplied our internal debts by 5 within 5 years. Usury and Putschism walked arm in arm. Competition was played out not only in the economic field, but also in education as well. Unfortunately, apparently the most liberal businessmen associations applauded the unlawful discrimination in education. Turkey failed to fall in step with the information age. We entered the first year of the 21st century with a shocking economic crisis at home and with the 11th of September event abroad, which we can call the 28th of February of the global system. The architectures of both alleged that their enemy of freedom orders would last 1,000 years, but they didn't last even 10 years. Thank God it didn't last. Despite any kind of obstacles, order came to the country. Our democracy and economy entered a normalization process. Through the policy of zero problem with neighbors, our influence area extended outwards. We became one of the global actors of the region, whose advices are listened to. We also began to dress our wounds at home through the National Unity and Brotherhood Project. MUSIAD played critical roles during this normalization process. It directed Anatolian people who are dealing with themselves and almost wasting their energy towards global entrepreneurship. It caused thousands of entrepreneurs, most of which don't even have a passport, discover global markets. It brought thousands of foreign businessmen to the 12 exhibitions it organized in Turkey. Through the 13 international business forums it organized, it encouraged trade between Islamic countries. It became a model and example NGO with its standing, original ideas, and projects. 6. It guided governments through its scientific and critical reports. It defended the truth, not the governments. It became a model establishment with global vision through its contact points in more than 40 countries abroad. And the region, with a manufacturing of $90 billion, export of $17 billion, and employment capacity of 1,200,000 people. It attached great importance to training. Besides its own members, it also supported other non-governmental organizations in need. It always placed itself at the cutting edge of the Turkish nation's struggle for justice and law, in a superior and informative relationship with the media and the NGOs. These are the things we can achieve to do. There are also those we aim to do. 1. We will create a new manufacturing and development model with the style and scale our assertion points out. With this regard, we will develop a culture of partnership where Islamic and Anatolian culture could pave our way. 2. We will create new styles of relationship between the entrepreneurs and the employees which go beyond capitalist conception. 3. We will establish a more advanced, real, and transformative relationship with the academic world. Even though we frequently emphasize the significance of knowledge, we will achieve the dialogue level necessary with the qualified wise men. In addition, we believe that as long as we feel we are the successors of the tradition of the unity of virtue, we shall overcome such problems and be able to lead enterprises which shall form an example to others. We have the love. We have the idea. We have the determination. 5,112 young men in love with Turkey shall never turn back from the path of virtue. 5,112 young men in love with Turkey shall never give up this love. So glad we have you, MÜSİAD. Many happy returns of the day.